is where you get your 33rd degree. All the way around, 33 columns. People walking by here have no clue. Look at your steps. 3, 5, 7, 9. But now look on both sides of the entrance. There's 2 Heru, well, these are called sphinxes. These are not Heru El-Salim. These are actually sphinxes. One, the eye is open, and the other one, the eye is closed. They didn't try to even fake it. They just put some European faces on there, so they didn't try to imitate it at all. Heru El-Salim is what we call the Sphinx. The Sphinx is just a mythological creature that comes from Greece that has nothing to do with ancient Egypt. The Greeks named that monument the Sphinx when they came in the 32nd, the last dynasty of ancient Kemet, or the last period of ancient Kemet. But it was called Heru El-Salim, Heru of the rising and setting sun. And so Heru is the great protector of Ma'at, from sunrise to sunset. Imagine if your son wanted to be like Heru El-Salim, you would be saying, yeah, son. But if he said, I want to be the Sphinx, you'd be like, I don't know about that. You know? Just look at that church. Do you see that? Do you know what that's called? That's the flower of life. See that window? The window in that church? That's the flower of life. That's talking about the 4, your cardinal points, your meridians. It's all an astrological symbol. So they're just showing you, they're just taking our stuff and just using it over and over again. That's geometry. That's all done from ancient Kemet, flower of life. You see the Ankh? Directly in the center of his face. Look, the cobra for protection, and the Ankh directly in the center. Those spots. Also something significant. Even the addresses that they have are significant in terms of numerology. So they're not built, these addresses that these temples have also have significance. It's not that they just, that's a nice spot. No, they made sure that this address, so this equals a 5. What is it, 7, 10, 14, 14, 1 and 4 is 5. 5 is creativity, energy, rebirth, renewal. Coming from around them. So this is symbolic of Ra. So you got the line in the center looking artistic, but you see the sun's rays all around. This rice building, look right in the center. The double-headed eagle with the sunburst all around it. And then those the design is in the cardinal points on the zodiac. And on the 16th Street, there are more churches and spiritual buildings than any other street in the world. Do you think that's a coincidence? The prime meridian, spirituality, all of these temples, churches, synagogues, temples, all line up on 16th Street? I don't think so. You see, ancient Kemet was the most spiritual place in the world, in the modern world. And so they were trying to duplicate that energy.
As we walk down 16th Street in Washington, D.C. and look out in Meridian Park, we see the step pyramid that's on top of the Scottish Rite Masonic Temple. If we look at this step pyramid, or the roof that's in a step pyramid shape, it almost takes us back to ancient Kemet when we see the step pyramid of King Zoser, or Horus Necha-Iket, or Heru Necha-Iket, as referred to him in the Old Kingdom. If you look at these two structures, it's very hard to make the conclusion that the roof of this Masonic temple was not directly influenced by the design of the step pyramid. But let's take a closer look at pyramids and where their design comes from, and how pyramids evolved from the original concept of the rebirth of creation, or the mound of creation coming forth from the primary waters of Noon, and how the whole creation story is embedded within pyramid architecture. If we go back to ancient times, pre-dynastic times in ancient Kemet, we see what was referred to as tumulus, which is the round, oval-shaped grave structures which was just packed with dirt. This mound was laid on top of the graves of the people of royalty in pre-dynastic times. That eventually evolved in what the Arabs call today a mastaba. The step pyramid is a series of 6 mastabas placed one on top of one another. But before we get into what the mastaba was and how it evolved into the step pyramid, let's take a step back to the tumulus. Tumulus primarily are found in what they refer to as the Middle Nile region. That's the lower and upper Nubia connection there we have, where Egypt and Nubia, or Kemet and Nubia, intertwined or mingled or mixed or confluenced with one another. Here you find some of the oldest forms of iconography in the Nile. We are familiar with the coastal instant burner and how it gives us an idea of kingship, or the regalia of kingship of the Nile prior to dynastic Kemet.
Hello?
What's up?
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Where?
Right here.
Tamam?
Aywa. This is very interesting.
Hazır. خلاص؟ Well done. تمام.
When we speak about the mound and what was used to cover these burials, we know they were just basically just earth and clay. Nothing dramatic. The stone masonry or the ability to work stone has not been perfected. But the fantastic thing is when we move into the step pyramid complex, now we see the evolution in building in stone. We also see the evolution in building in columns. Although those columns within the colonnade hall of the step pyramid were supported, you now see man begin to explore the ideals of building columns. However, when we go back before the evolution of the step pyramid and the building in stone, we have to talk about what came after the mound impacted clays of earth in the tumulus. We step into a field where we now talk about man building with mud brick, using mud brick to build his structures.
Brothers and my dear sister, right now we are inside the unprecedented funeral complex established entirely out of limestone to surround the oldest pyramid of Egypt, pyramid of King Zoser, Z-O-S-E-R. I give credit to Zoser for the first extensive use of limestone on large scale. Before using limestone in that complex, Egyptians were much more familiar with the use of sun-dried mud brick. In America, call that adobe. They used adobe before. They used tree trunks, palm logs, bundle of reeds. But for the first time, they used limestone. They were trying out new ideas. But actually, they were imitating something they were familiar with. They were imitating bundle of reeds. But putting that in stone for the first time in the history of mankind.
Saqqara, where the step pyramid lies, and Abydos are the two main places in ancient Kemet where you find mastabas. You find some mastabas as well in Giza. When we talk about the old kingdom, pre-dynastic, first, second, third dynasty, most of the burials were all done in mastabas. Mastaba is an Arabic word which means mud bench. The Arabs called it because it looks like a bench. It's a rectangular shaped object or rectangular shaped structure which looks like a bench. So they called it mastabas when they came to Kemet. This mastaba was adapted into a pyramid shape using adaptations of the mastaba, one above each other in smaller segments to form a step. This step pyramid was designed by Imhotep, who was the chief architect of King Heru El-Salim, or more commonly referred to as Zoser or Jessa, which means the holy. This name was given to him in the New Kingdom. So now we see the mastabas. We see the step pyramid. What is the step pyramid? What does it signify? What does it symbolize? In the prayers, we said that the pyramids were almost in the stairs. And as the soul of the king ascended, it was ascended on a stairway to heaven. We see that. But this step pyramid shape, most people are familiar with only the Heru El-Salim or the Zoser step pyramid. However, there were other step pyramids that existed in ancient Kemet that most are not familiar with.
2780 BC. We take a look at the pyramid from outside. It lost its outer casing. No more outer covering. No more outer casing. It reveals the pyramid of Zoser was established in steps, in stages. Each step or stage in Arabic called the mastaba. M-A-S-T-A-B-A. Here we have 6 mastabas, or 6 steps, or 6 stages, dimension in size towards the apex or climax of the structure. The height of the pyramid is 60 meters. In America, 60 meters for you will be 190 feet. And if I wish to go to burial chamber, I go underneath, about 30 meters or 100 feet underneath.
If we look at from the time of the step pyramid of King Necha or Nesut-Bete Necha Zoser, up until the time of the Great Pyramid in Giza of Khufu, we see an evolution of pyramid building. We see a process that is taking place. We see something that we can understand. Not only are we seeing a process of pyramid building, but we're also seeing a process of learning how to work in stone, learning how to master stone, learning how the Masonics begin to become alive, because these people who worked in stone were gilded and crafted in certain types of skills. These skills that built these great architectures or built these great edifices laid the foundation for what we have in the world today. The successor of King Zoser was Heru El-Salim. He built a step pyramid. Immediately following him was Kaaba, who also built a step pyramid. Now, mind you, today, these step pyramids are not around. Most people can't see them. They're just basically mounds of rubble, but we know that they were step pyramids. The true example of what they tried to do was in the final step pyramid, and that's in a place today in Kemet called Meidum, which is the step pyramid of Huni. Now, the fantastic thing about this step pyramid is when you look at it, you can actually see the rubble around the pyramid. But anything about rubble itself, what they tried to do is what they did actually, because they achieved it, but it collapsed at a later point. They took the step pyramid and they added in the sides. They impacted it with more rubble and clay and blocks, and they smoothed down the side. So in reality, it wasn't a true pyramid in the sense that they were building or erecting a true right angle pyramid from the beginning. However, they took a step pyramid and they impacted the sides in, and then they smoothed it down to make a perfect right angle pyramid. That, in fact, was the first right angle pyramid. Now, see, there's a connection here between the end of the 3rd dynasty and the beginning of the 4th dynasty, because Huni was succeeded by the ruler called Senefru. Senefru really is the father of pyramid building. Senefru built, some people say, arguably, he built 3 pyramids, or 3 pyramids are credited to his name. One being that in Meidum, which he completed by his predecessor, Huni, and the others were the Bent Pyramid and the Red Brick Pyramid in Dashur. Now, when you look at Senefru's influence, his connection to pyramid building and that of Huni, we see his desire to build a true right angle pyramid. So when he tried to build his own structure, he started from the ground up in a right angle manner. First pyramid he built, or he erected, or he had erected for him, was that again of what they refer today as the bent pyramid. Reason why we call it a bent pyramid, because it has a rhomboidal shape. This pyramid originally was designed with a 54-degree axis. That would have been the largest pyramid ever constructed. However, somewhere within the design, within the construction of the pyramid, they begin to crack. The architects or the builders saw this and they completed it, but they had to change the angle from 54 degrees to 43 degrees. This reduced the amount of weight at the top of the pyramid, allowing them to complete the job. Now, what they did was they understood certain fundamental principles behind pyramid building. One was you had to build on a solid ground, meaning the ground had to support the weight of the pyramid itself. So they had to find earth that was sturdy enough to build. So what they did was start to build in ground and supporting the weight of the pyramid. Then during the construction of it, they built what we call the pyramid within the pyramid, which is referred to as a corbel ceiling, to support the weight or distribute the weight evenly on the top of the pyramid so as not to disturb the base of the pyramid itself. All this was accomplished in the red brick pyramid, and now here we have the true or first right angle pyramid. This red brick pyramid is so significant because it lays the foundation for the culmination of pyramid building itself. The culmination of pyramid building now takes place in Giza, which we have this father-son, predecessor to successor connection again, when we have with Khufu, who's the son of Seneferu. Khufu builds or has commissions for himself, which we refer to as the Akhet Khufu, the horizon of Khufu, the Great Pyramid. The only remaining of the 7 wonders of the world is the Great Pyramid of Giza.
You know, the Great Pyramids of Giza, you have the smaller pyramids for the queens, and you have the 3 great pyramids for the kings, the pharaohs. Khufu, the father, Khafra, the son, and Menkaure, the grandson. And in the middle pyramid, the limestone had been taken off of most of the pyramids, but there's enough left at the top, so there's like a capstone at the top. I use that in order to process information. One thing, I want to take the triangle shape so it can be used in terms of understanding law of opposites, because Nile Valley culture and civilization was built around the law of opposites. You have at one polarity of the triangle shape of the sides of the pyramids, thesis, foundation, the beginning. And thesis begets antithesis. And so at the polarities of the pyramid, the foundation, you have thesis and antithesis. The interrelationship of the thesis and the antithesis produces a summit, and that summit is the synthesis. So this context of thesis, the foundation information, and the antithesis, complementary information, and the synthesis is where we have to go with this great knowledge.
When we talk about the pyramid building, we talk about 2 concepts. We talk about the concept of matter and antimatter. We talk about darkness, and we talk about light. We talk about all these things connected. We talk about creation, the formation of creation, how it comes from something, comes from nothing. The pyramid represents the mound of life. The mound of creation represents life coming from an existence that does not exist to us and our understanding. This pyramid concept is the replication of that. So when we go to ancient Kemet, one of the things we always point out to people, particularly those who are pilgrims to the Nile, we show them, say, this pyramid right here, it's a testament for the existence of the Creator. Each day, as the sun rises and it went upon the apex or the pinnacle of the pyramid, a prism was created by the pyramidion. This electrum pyramidion that was placed on top of the pyramid, when the sunlight hit it, it reflected in the way that these lights went down the sides of the white slopes of the pyramid. This goes back to what we refer to as the Memphite theology and the Odo in the creation story. The oldest creation story which Shabaka so eloquently transcribed on a stone is referred to as the Shabaka stone, which is now placed in the British Museum. This creation story, we could also see it in the Bible, but it speaks about the creator gods. It speaks about the different elements that took place to create life. Each day, as the sun rose, it's reenacted. Creation is being brought forth. The whole evolution of the creation process is being taken place again. It's unfolding over and over and over again. The perpetual existence of creation. This is the purpose of the pyramids. Most people speak about tombs, but there's a deep spiritual connection that goes with pyramid buildings that must be stated, and then that cannot be understated. We have to speak about why pyramids were built. Sure, they may have been used as tombs, but let's look at the deeper spiritual connection to them as well. Now, understand this about the Nile and what took place during the times of inundation. The Nile is totally 100% in ancient times an agricultural society. Each year, the Nile waters overflooded its banks and created this great farmland rich in the Ethiopian silt that they were able, once the flood waters receded, they were able to plant their crops and get 1 or 2 harvests a year from this. If everyone's farmers, what do you do when you can't farm? You build. You build. The people who lived in ancient Kemet were employed in the service of the kingdom or of their nation. This is the way they give. This is the way they gave back. But they were very well taken care of. Not only that, not just anyone can do just anything. Depending on your skill set, determined how or where you landed in this project. If you had the ability to work with stone, a master stonemason, not just people who move stone and carve stone, but master stonemasons. These people were part of the elite group. You had master architects. You had master builders. They were the elite of the elite. In most cases, they were separated from the rest of the society. They were given the best privileges above all people above the land. You don't only see this in Giza, in the Giza project, but you also see this in the New Kingdom. When we look at the 4th dynasty, we also have to see there was something else taking place. We also talk about Giza in the West Bank, Saqqara, Dashur, Giza, and these great necropolises, or these great burial sites. But on the other side of the river was the great temple of Ra and Iwen or Ayunu. It depends on how people translate this word. You get different translations or different linguistic translations from Iwen to Ayunu. But it was the great temple of Ra within the city of today, what they call, or the Greeks came later and they called it